Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance. And this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Jody, and here's her story. Hi, Ollie. It's Jody again. I want to first thank you very much for your brutally honest opinion on what has been going on in my family. Okay, and her video was when you realize who the real parental alienator is, which I think was basically the last video I did before I found out, before my neck went bad, and then I found out my mother was dead. And, yeah, so that one ended up being demonetized. What it turned out to be, her mother was the actual parental alienator, and she had been blaming her father. So, here we go. When you brought to my attention that it was my mom, Shirley, who was alienating me from my dad, it all started to make sense. What really hit me and instantly made me cry was her covert way of saying that I can have my father, but you can't have yours, which is something I will never unhear, if that is a word, let alone never unsee. I am now, after crying and crying and crying over the revelation, ready to tell the next part of my so-called life. I am also ready to address some major red flags that you pointed out in your video to me. You called bullshit on my brother's and/or Shirley's story about my brother going away with my dad, who I was referring to as Jeff, so people know who I'm talking about. Let me elaborate, please. A memory popped into my head about the what I now know to be bullshit story of my dad making my brother sleep in the dirt while he was in the van while away camping. What came to me was the rare times my brother and I would stay over my dad's for the night. I remember my dad giving up his bed for my brother and I while he slept on the couch, as he had one bedroom unit at the time. I can't remember how old I was, and I'm not sure it matters, but this definitely conflicts with that version of events. Right, the brother was telling the story, how the father abused him, made him sleep in the dirt, and now, like, once I tell you it's your mother, everything starts to make sense. Wait a minute, my father slept on the couch so me and my brother could sleep in a bed. Like, what are we talking about here? I'm glad this memory came back to me because I was there. I know it to be true. It seems that it is all I can rely on in my family, is what I know to be true, what I saw firsthand. To be honest, I was feeling that when I was writing my first email, but as some of the comments in that video pointed out, I was probably seeking some kind of confirmation from you, Ollie. I am glad I got that, so thank you. I am sure you will also remember me saying in my last email that I didn't seem to have any issues with my dad on my own. I truly believe it happened the way you said it did, and that my dad was alienated from me by Shirley. I see the different times he cared, and it's strange seeing it from the other side now, but it's so nice to know that, though. I also see the handlebar fiasco differently, too. It's nice to know he cared enough about my brother to tell him to change it back. Yeah, his brother was driving around with his handlebars on backward because that was the quote-unquote style. Like, that's what you did. But you flip right over the handlebars doing that. This was brought to my attention from both your amazing viewers and yourself. I remember reading one comment saying that he actually cared about my brother to point it out or something to that effect. I also resonated with your comment when you said that your father deliberately turned your handlebars backwards so that you would go over the handlebars. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. As you may remember, I told you about the very loving father my mom had and how it hurt me that I didn't have my dad around. Yes, my grandfather, was very gentle, kind, loving man, and something that I always felt when he was alive was that maybe Shirley wanted to replace my own dad with my pop being my dad. Is that even possible? Kind of like how my ex-wife is trying to replace me with my father. Like that. Yeah, I understand that. I understand that completely. It is possible because I'm watching it happen right now. I'm watching it happen in my own life right now. The reason I ask is when you clearly pointed out over and over that everything was secondhand info, it came to me that Shirley had told me a few times, but I never heard it from my grandparents, that apparently that they didn't like my dad. Right, it's always secondhand. When you stop and take a look back, and once you remove yourself, okay, and you ask yourself, well, did you hear them say that? Oh, no, so-and-so told me they said that. Did you hear him say that? Oh, no, so-and-so told me they said that. And when you realize you're getting all your knowledge secondhand from the narcissist, it's all lies. I see the secondhand info over and over that you point out from my email in your video. Now let me point out a few other things that I remembered being secondhand stories and some personal interactions with my narc mom. So hard to say that, I must admit. When my brother was around 12, 14, or whatever age kids were allowed to work back in those days, he did a milk round to make his own money. Yet again, I remember Shirley telling me that my brother lost his job because he stole some money after the owner of the business came and let her know. I never remember my brother telling me this, so maybe it was just a story. The only thing that makes me believe it might be true was when I had one of the last in-depth conversations with my brother was him saying if he couldn't get his marijuana, that he was scared what he might do to get it. To get weed? All right, that's just a little entitled bitch. If you're going to go steal for weed, you're just an entitled, you're not addicted. You're just an entitled, narcissistic little bitch. That's what you are. It is possible he stole the milk money. It's still possible he did it. It's also possible she was taking it. He was taking it for her. Meaning that he would go and steal if he had to. I never put two and two together until later on, but learning what Shirley has done over the years, who the hell knows? I'm so confused. I would like your opinion on this if you wouldn't mind. What it sounds like is he wanted you to give him, he was trying to guilt you into giving him the money to go buy weed. That's what it sounds like. It also sounds like he learned that behavior from your mother. Guarantee you learned that behavior from your mother. In addition to me talking about my parents, a lot of memories from the relationship between Shirley and I is coming up again. Yes, I said again. I remember being a very shy girl. I remember instances where I would hide behind Shirley's legs and she would interact with other people. I also remember as a young child always looking to Shirley for the answer when someone would talk to me. I am guessing this was... Oh, shit. I am guessing this was all conditioning. Thankfully, I don't do that now, but looking back again as an adult, I wondered why I would do that. I remember not having much confidence to speak for myself. That's all I know. It's disturbing, so disturbing. I'm shaking my head because as I typed it. Because you didn't want to step out of line of your mother. You knew you roll with your mother. Whenever I would do something wrong, another disturbing tactic that I have only just learned about was when my mother would give us kids the silent treatment. I hated every second of it. Knocking on her locked bedroom door, trying to make amends with her, and no response. It killed me every time. I would be very anxious, my heart pounding, wanting to make things right, but not knowing what the consequences would be on the other side. I now know that the silent treatment itself was the punishment, and it worked. I also learned that the narcissist doesn't know how to communicate their feelings because they don't have any to begin with. All I remember as a kid is having very deep feelings and emotions about things that may seem trivial to some, but hurt deeply within me for some reason. I still do as an adult and cry a drop of a hat, literally. I feel too much sometimes, which brings me to my next memory. Crying for my dad in my bed at night as a very young child. I unfortunately can't remember if it was over anything that happened or if it was me just being overly emotional. But I will never forget doing that, and I would do it as an adult too, to a certain degree over the years. Obviously, as you rightfully point out, there are deep reasons, and the answer was Shirley, my mother. Which brings me to another topic concerning the men in my life as an adult and how they would get sabotaged by my mom. A lot has come to my attention, and I will leave this to the next time I write in. Keep strong, everyone, and once again, I warmly thank everyone who commented on my first story. And last, but certainly not least, to you, Ollie, for helping me see the light. It has helped me immensely to the point I'm working on going no contact ASAP. All the best, and take care, Jody. You know, Jody, you're coming to a point where you're realizing how much was stolen from you. How much that your mother alienated you from a normal relationship with your father, probably a normal relationship with men. She's taken from you, she's taken from your brother, and she's destroyed everything she comes in contact with. Everything she comes in contact with, she destroys. So the sooner you can get to be no contact with her, the better. And the better your relationship with your dad will become. And I know you contacted him, and I think that's great. And I'm glad you're seeing things for how they are. And that's the hardest thing after parental alienation. So, thank you for another update, another contribution and story, Jody. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, or a Facebook live chat, or you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you guys. Without you, all of this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been The Narcissistic Resistance.